I'm Tom Vasel.
I'm Zee Garcia. How you doing?
And I'm Sam Healey.
And this is the first of some preview videos that we're going to be doing for GenCon. And what we're going to be doing with these is talking about some of the games that are coming out from GenCon and kind of giving you some thoughts on them, our opinions on them. Much of what we have researched and got is either from the companies themselves. I've emailed as many companies as I could think of. We also got a lot of information from Eric Martin's Geek List at Board Game Geek. He does a good job putting that together. However, that Geek List and the other information out there is not totally complete in a sense that it's sometimes hard to figure out if a game is going to be at GenCon or not. Mm-hmm. It's the land of launching Kickstarters. Which
it has become that, yes, and there is probably as many games that you can demo there and get later than are actually there at this point.
I don't know if it's that many, but yes, there's a lot.
It's getting there, if nothing else.
I'm wondering if the success rate of launching a game at Kickstarter, I know you get people to play at Gen Con, I know you can get people to play it, but will you get people to, I mean, does it actually translate to the money going to Gen Con and such?
Going to the Kickstarter, you mean? I don't know. I'm assuming everybody seems to be doing it. I'm assuming it makes a big difference, but Gen Con is expensive, so
I'm going to assume it's not that big of a difference because most of the companies who did it last year have not returned this year. But then again, that could also be because Gen Con's running out of space. So there's that. But anyhow, we're not going to talk about all that preview stuff, and we may miss a game that is there, or we may talk about a game that we thought was going to be there and didn't make it for whatever reasons. Customs and shipping, and there's always one sad company every year that's sitting there like, oh. And I really feel bad for them because if your games don't make it for Gen Con,
it's a big lost
opportunity. Put you behind the eight ball.
Yep.
So we're going to go through the game companies in alphabetical order. We'll just go through this video, and then each video will be talking about the things. But before we do that, what's your impressions on the list overall, looking at everything?
Well, for me, I know it seems to me that this is the year of the expansion. I don't know what it is, but almost everything I'm excited about is an expansion to a game I already know and love, which is good. I mean, I have no problem with that. I like that, but there's a lot of games that are going to be there, and there's a few I'm excited about, really excited about, but there's a bunch of expansions I'm really looking forward to from great companies. So I'm getting that vibe. I'm getting this vibe of playing catch-up to older games this year. I don't know what it is.
Yeah, I'm there. I had about 15 games that I'm really looking forward to, and about half of those were expansions or based upon something that's already been released. So that's kind of where I'm at. There's a lot of cool games there, but I also had a lot of 2s and 3s as well. So, but I think the number of 1s, 2s, and 3s were
One
still...
is the game that we're most interested in.
Yeah. We're still overshadowed by how many 4s and 5s there were. I mean, there's a lot of games coming out, and I'm just not interested in most of them.
Right.
Now, an interesting thing for us, too, is that because we are seeing several of the games early, we've already done some game reviews that are coming out this week. You'll see some more of those. So when we go, they're like, oh, yeah, okay, we already saw that. So don't take that necessarily as what for you. At the same time, I felt like this year pales to last year, where there was about 5 or 6 fever pitch games being released. There's some here, and there's going to be some games on our list that people are running for, but I think this year Essen is going to be where the hottest games of the year are released. I could be wrong on that, and there's some games here that are amazing, but, well, here we go. First company, Ad Magic. Now, Ad Magic has, actually, I only listed three games on here. I think Ad Magic has probably like 15 or 20. Ad Magic is more of I think they're similar to Game Salute, kind of, where they'll print your game for you.
Conglomerate kind of thing, yeah. Well, I know they have a lot of other games, but we've seen them elsewhere. Asking for Troubles is one of their games, but that was at Origins, and it's been out before.
And that game is quite good, and so is the Letter game.
Very good,
the Letter Tycoon.
And the Letter Tycoon, very good. But again, you could have found that at Origins, and possibly before that too. But the ones we've got here, so let's see. Game of Phones. I wonder if that's based on any sort of pun or anything.
Could be.
So it sounds like Game of Puns. I was gonna say Game of Phones is like an apples to apples with your smartphone. You flip over a card. It says, "Okay, show me the oldest picture of you have on your phone."
Yeah.
And then you have to, so basically bring a charger when you play this game, and make sure you didn't just clean out your phone or you can't play.
Actually, so it goes with the pictures in your phone?
Yeah.
But I delete most of them and put them on my computer.
Hence, you can't play. It sounds very silly. I just don't. I don't see the interest or the legs here. I mean, it sounds like a gimmicky game, and it's just a gimmick.
Is it just on pictures? I didn't think it was just on pictures. I thought it was also
whatever, like
last search you did. And
yeah, right.
That
It's
type of
anything
stuff.
on your phone, but again, if you just cleaned out your phone and it's about the last picture you took. Well, I just emptied my phone this morning, so I can't play. I don't know. It doesn't make any
Can you
sense.
search for them on the internet? I mean...
No.
Yeah, no, I'm really on the same vein here as Zee is. I really don't. It seems like they're trying to hit the anti-market of all these people who are saying you shouldn't be using your phone during the game and all this kind of stuff, and they're trying to say, oh yeah, well here's a game where you can use your phone. And it's just like, come on.
All right.
It's a silly party game.
They also have two other games, Slap 45, which Zee says is going to be the game of the con.
A slapping real-time Western-themed game. Western's awesome. Slapping games are one of my most hated game types, so this is a hard pass.
Then there's Fun Employed. Fun Employed is a game that, has been getting some buzz. It's one of the few of these smaller games that I see people talking about on the internet.
Yeah, Fun Employed is like it's the new thing. It's like, but wait, there's more. And the other one is called Bad Medicine, and it's this whole game of convince us of how you're the best hiree for this position, or the Bad Medicine one is the same thing, but with drug companies. But wait, there's more. Same thing. It's that same vein of games.
Man, that genre is really crowded at this point.
It is. It just got super crowded really quick.
Yeah.
It sounds interesting. I'd like to see it, but it could be good. It could be good. I'm gonna check it out at the very least. I want to look at it.
All right.
Pass for me.
Then we move to AEG, which I'm sure they will have another version of Love Letter there, or two.
Which game now?
They will probably also have expansions for Deadlands, the
Doomtown?
Doomtown, their living card game, or whatever the non-licensed version of that is. The games that they're new going to be there, the one I'm most excited about is their expansion for Valley of the Kings, Afterlife.
Same here. Absolutely. Valley of the Kings is an awesome game. This is both an expansion and a standalone game, actually. And
oh, is it? I did not realize that.
It is a standalone game. You can play Afterlife by itself, but you can combine it with the original. And I'm just going to do that right away. I'm just going to throw them in together and enjoy that deck building game, because it's a great game already, and more of that good stuff. Thumbs up from me. I can't wait for that one.
I never played the original, so I didn't.
Well, you're
know.
not a huge deck building guy.
Well, I do. Well, I guess yeah.
This one is more straight deck
I'm hit or
building.
miss. I guess I wouldn't say I'm not into deck building. I'm hit or miss with it. So I never played the original. I saw that both of you rated it really high.
Right.
So if it's on your radar, then I'm interested in it a little bit at least. So I gave it a 3.
It's in my collection, which is pretty big deal.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have it as well.
Then the second thing I'm most excited about is their new Smash Up Munchkin game. I've always been a fan of Smash Up. I'm always looking for the next expansion of Smash Up. This one is compatible, and it's basically taking the Munchkin thing. I believe there's 8 factions in it. 4 of them are classes, and 4 of them are races, like Dwarf, Elf, and then you have the classes, Fighter, and so you'll be able to mix and match.
This is how I came to the Smash Up Munchkin. I was scrolling and I said, "Oh, Smash Up Munchkin."
Yeah, but see, that doesn't bother me that much because I don't.
There you go.
I don't dislike the Munchkin
I do.
theming.
I do.
All right, well, I'm still gonna
Well,
play with it.
It sounds like an interesting twist on typical Smash Up, where they actually, like you're saying, separated classes, and that's interesting. That could be good. Yeah, I gotta check that one out. Now, the other one that is super hot on my list, Junta is getting reprinted. Ooh, boy. Somebody somewhere thought Junta needs to be reprinted.
That's actually kind of
Jump for that one.
That's actually kind of cool for the people who do like it. But from what I understand, and we haven't played Junta, and you have, right?
Sure.
You have played Junta?
Yeah, of course. That's why I hate it.
That's what he hated. Yeah.
Okay, but it's one of those games that are they reworking it? I mean, because it's one of those games that's definitely still has those 70s, 80s gaming vibes. It needs to be updated, from what I can tell.
That I'm not sure about. They might be tweaking something in it. In which case, I hope they do enough to really bring it up to speed. The game's, I mean, the idea.
So this is a reprint of the original, and
Yeah.
not a reprint of Viva El Presidente.
No,
No,
it's a reprint of the original Junta.
Wow.
Yeah.
Why would they feel like they needed to do that?
I don't know.
Again, if they're doing something to it, then all right, go for it.
But what if they aren't?
they aren't, then I'm not sure who's buying it.
Right.
You know?
All right, then they also doing Rumpelstiltskin, although we're going to have to scratch that one off. I think we just saw it in the store.
We saw it. It's out there in the store, yeah. It's a two-player love letter-ish game where you play a card, do something it says, and then try to guess the opponent's bottom card on their 10-card deck of cards. If you can guess it, you win. But obviously every card play manipulates stuff. You can play a card and reverse the order of your entire deck. You play a card and flip two, then guess. Things like that. It sounds okay, but it also sounds like it floats away. One of those games you'll play a couple times and then be like, oh, that's cute. What's next?
Done.
Then another thing from the Game of Thrones, we have Game of Crowns. Now, they were showing this off at Origins. It's being released at GenCon. Sam, you have this as a 3. You should change it to a 5, maybe a 6.
All right.
Because I've played this now. And Game of Crowns is... It's kind of weird because the name is obviously Game of Thrones.
Yeah.
And that's like the extent of their trying to parody it all.
Really?
They didn't go any farther than that.
Well,
And it's
yeah,
basically... But I mean, you think if they're going to do that in the fantasy realm, I mean, because it's fantasy,
Yeah.
that they would try to parody some other stuff, and they don't.
Right.
But anyhow, they... in fact, I think the game was designed as something else, and they just changed the name at the last minute.
Oh.
That would be my guess. Anyhow, the game is like a negotiation game, like Cosmic Encounter a little bit.
Yeah.
But there's no stakes. So, for example...
That's what kind of turned me onto it. That's why I put a 3 on there, because it had it looked like it had that cosmic encounter.
Yes,
feel
but let
to
me
it.
explain how it works.
Okay, go ahead.
I attack Z. Mm-hmm. The winner of this will get to either steal a card from the other person's hand or draw a card from the middle. Both good things.
Okay.
You can decide. You must decide whether you're helping Z or me.
And I don't get anything.
There's no incentive for you to help either one of us, other than you want one of us to lose or not. And that really, really, really is a bad mechanism. Really is, because why? I mean, everyone at the table is. I mean, you could like try to persuade people. I helped you before. I'll help you again. But that and each person has 3 turns. Yeah, it's really and that turn can be playing a card that lets you steal something from someone else's hand. That could be a turn.
Thanks for popping my bubble, bud.
Sorry about that. Well, just trying to rescue people. Okay. One of the hot games that people will probably be running for and will be sold out will be from Alea, and that will be Broom Service.
Right.
Because it just won the Kenner Spiel des Jahres. And so Z got a copy of it, and we tried it out, and I enjoy it. Not sure how it beat Elysium and
Now, I haven't played Orleans, but I have played Elysium. I don't think this game beats Elysium at the Kenner Spiel, but at the end of the day, this game should have been nominated for the Spiel.
Instead of
the Kenner Spiel.
Instead of the
It
game?
seems like the games keep getting simpler and simpler and simpler. Eventually, it'll be like Yahtzee for the Kenner Spiel. My God, come on, So
either way, though, it's still a pretty fun game.
it's a nice game. It's an evolution on Witch's Brew. It uses that very similar card playing mechanism, which is a solid mechanism, and then it adds board play. It adds some movement, some pick up and deliver.
Yeah, but I didn't like Witch's Brew, and I did like this one. They changed one rule, which I thought helped out a lot. The person who goes first is not necessarily messed over automatically.
Right, I agree, and that is a good rule. So I recommend it. If you want to check this one out, I say go for it. It's worthwhile. It's a good one.
Then we come to Ape Games. They make what their biggest game is the Rolling Freight, probably is what they're best known for, or their ducks. You can always go to their stand and see all the rubber ducks for their Duck Goes.
Yeah.
They got 3 games. The first is Arcadia, which is, I think, about a carnival type thing.
It's an amusement park. It's a set collection game. where you're building your own amusement park.
Right.
It looks really cute. I mean, this is everything from this company actually kind of put them on the map for me for when I get to GenCon. You know what I mean? And Arcadia being the first one looks like the simplest of the 3 games we're going to talk about. Mm-hmm. But it's a good-looking game. Artwork's great. Seems like a nice, straightforward card drafting and sort of set collection game. I'm looking forward to this one. I'm going to go check it out.
Those are the 2 that hit me on it: the set collection and drafting.
Yeah.
Oh, I just like amusement parks, so that's why I'm interested.
Cool.
Spirits of the Rice Paddy. That's
this
more
one's-
complex one, I think.
Yeah, this one looks much more Euro-y. It's the one I still want to check it out. It sounds interesting. I'm just afraid it might be too Euro and too dry for me.
I liked the mythical aspect to the game.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they took farming to a different, kind of a mystical level.
Right.
And that's what I mean. It's middle of the road for me. I'll have to wait and see, kind of feel to it. But I'm interested in it. I mean, we used to live when we were in Korea. We lived in the middle of a rice paddy, so it had a little bit of a nostalgia effect to it.
Do you miss living in the middle of a rice paddy?
No, I do not. But
Mosquitoes.
there's some nostalgia there.
All right,
That's cool.
But
Yeah, I
you
wanna
are,
see it.
I think you are more interested in the last one, the Rise to Power.
Yeah, I am.
Yeah, this is the one that it's a tableau building game in like a sci-fi setting, and you are. I mean, the way it came across as I was reading up on it, it sounds like a lighter Race for the Galaxy, where you are again
You
building
just
up
dropped
your,
the number.
building up your tableau, and you're playing cards that have special powers, and they let you get whatever you can generate, and I mean it sounds. It sounds cool. I didn't like the look of the people. The drawings didn't really do it for me. But the gameplay sounds interesting enough that I want to check it out.
My main thing with Race for the Galaxy was the icons.
No, I'm with you there. You did like Roll for the Galaxy.
Yeah, I
Right,
love
right,
Roll for the
right,
Galaxy.
right.
So I'm probably on board for this one. Gotta wait to see how it plays though.
Then we go to Arcane Wonders, which has only one new game, although they'll be demoing Dice Tower Essentials games there, but they have one new game, and that is Mage Wars Academy. Now this is kind of an expansion to Mage Wars, but it's really not. It's more of a starter. It takes Mage Wars and makes it super simple, that you can play very quickly. Now, Mage Wars is a fairly complex game.
Now
right?
it is. Yeah.
But even the starter set, there's building your own spell book. Okay, even if you have your own spell book, knowing what spells to play, I wouldn't teach it to a kid or anything.
Oh, no.
But this is made for that.
Right.
To kind of introduce someone, and I'm excited about that because if I can teach people Mage Wars and we can play the whole game in 30 minutes, I'm on board.
Yeah.
Right.
I guess I've got this as a 1, so I am looking forward to it. I want to see how it plays, but I'm interested to see how far they've dumbed it down, if that makes sense.
Are you worried it's too dumbed down?
Yeah, I'm wondering.
I'm worried it's not dumbed down enough.
Well, okay, that's the 2 sides of the same coin.
Yeah.
Okay,
Then.
well, we're all guessing because I don't think has any of us seen it actually.
No,
I've seen the box.
I've only heard of it. I've only heard it, but it's. I was comfortable with Mage Wars as just a base game, and then they started adding a whole bunch of stuff to it, and that's where I was kind of like,
Well, I love it.
that's a little bit too much. So I'm wondering if they went back to the base game and then like cut out half of the complexity, that'll be too much for me.
Okay.
But if they just like shave some of the fat off of it, I'll be good with it.
That's
So
interesting.
Well, I think that a lot of people will certainly be checking this one out. Also, go by and get Sheriff of Nottingham from them.
shameless plug.
Well, that's it for this episode. We're not even done with the A's yet. I do want to mention before we leave that we will be at GenCon. Come by and see us at booth 3030. We'll have more information about that on the website. See you next time. I'm Tom Vasel.
Zee Garcia.
I'm Sam Healey.